welcome back to another episode of the Wrist Cheese Radio Podcast, your home for horological hot takes, taboo topics, and often unpopular watch opinions. I'm your host, Brodinky. With me back in the saddle is none other than Mr. Schmidt. Schmitty, what's going on there, boss?
That's a hell of an introduction, and I'll take it. But it's good, man. Everything is good with me. Fresh off the holiday season. Everyone is sick in my house except for myself, so I've been battling with that.
Winning.
Christmas decorations are still not put away because of that. But here we are. We're winning. We're in the new year, and we're ready to rock it. So, how are things with you, my big guy?
Excited to be back. It's been a little bit of a hiatus, peppered a few episodes in here and there, but had some time to put some thoughts together, had some news, had some, not too many releases with the new year breaking and everything, but we've got a few things. Aside from that, I'd like to congratulate you. I think we've just broke the 150K on the download threshold. So a pat on the back.
No way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. And you were keeping this? We were just talking, no problem. You were just keeping the secret.
No, yeah, gotta keep it for the air. If I gave it to you ahead of time, the surprise factor.
Oh man, that's so amazing.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations back at you, big guy. That's amazing.
Yep. Very cool, very cool. Aside from that, yeah, it was a good break. Had a few fun little watch tidbits here and there. First of all, my son's in pre-K, and they do this thing now that they definitely didn't do when we were kids because they didn't have camera phones. But there's this app, and they'll like send you pictures of what they're doing throughout the day,
So
and
it's like
only the parents can log into it.
so it's like a thing for your pets. Like those like pet cameras that people have, like you can like zoom in with your dog.
Like it's
Is
not
that
it's not active photos, it's whatever the teacher posts, but like you can
gotcha?
ask them questions and stuff or whatever. But so today got an overhead pic of my kid, and
Saw you post on social.
he's wearing his Timex Lizards watch. Great, great, very proud, happy dad moment.
And he's got it all military style. He's got the dials inside the wrist. I was like, that's pretty sick.
And
That's
he's a
pretty sick.
lefty. He's a lefty wearing it on the left, so that's interesting as well. Um,
More power to him.
yeah. Another funny thing, I don't remember if I told this one on air or not, given it was such a weird month. But so I'm at a holiday party. It wasn't on Christmas or anything, but it was a holiday party. And one of my wife's cousins is a younger dude, kind of just graduated college, and he's looking for a watch. And so
Ooh,
around the way, right? People are like, "Oh, you should talk to him. He knows something or two,
he knows
right?" So,
watches.
right. So, like, I
He
finally
speaks the
get
language.
this. Finally comes out like as everybody's leaving, obviously.
Oh no.
So, I'm like, yeah, Ryan. What's up? He's like, oh yeah, I've already got something in mind. Like, I'm like, all right, well, let's see what heap of garbage he's gonna pull up. Right? He starts pulling it up. Seiko cocktail. I was like, Ryan, you don't need my help.
It's like,
You
did we
know what
just
you're
become best
doing.
friends?
Clearly, you're a man of taste.
Did we just become best
I was
friends?
like,
Yep.
dude.
What a great option.
I was like, wow. I was like, first pick, huh? That's something. It's not the classic cocktail with the fun dial. It's a blue one with more of a matted dial on it. But still, I was like, hell of a pick for first go around, my friend.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's such a beautiful watch. I have a buddy that has the Seiko Cocktail Old Fashioned.
Oh, very nice.
It's either like a rose gold plated case or a gold plated case, but it's got like the cocktail dial, but it's like this like dark brownish amber color. Dude, so clean. So good. And apparently they were kind of hard to get. There was only a few retailers in the US that carried them. They weren't like a Macy's special or anything like that. So like he had to like hunt it. He's like, I don't care. He's like, I drink the old fashioned. So I was like, I want that watch.
Yeah, nice,
It's
nice.
it's pretty snazzy, pretty snazzy. But
Yeah,
good pick, dude. I
very
mean,
good pick. I was very proud.
he's like, you don't even need to watch Sherpa. Like, what are you doing
Yeah,
there?
that's what I said. I was like, you don't need my help. So that
So
was
that's
fun.
too funny. That's too funny.
Uh, yeah. Aside from that, I think it's this month or next month. I got a little feature coming out in a magazine. I had to go get some photos taken for and shit. So
Ooh,
yeah, that was exciting.
Is this for another or for a similar quarterly magazine?
Similar, not the same.
Okay.
Similar.
Even more impressive.
Yeah. So
Did they
that's
get
neat.
professional headshots and everything?
Oh, they weren't headshots. They were full on lifestyle photos
Oh my gosh. No way. Wow.
in Brooklyn, like on the streets.
What does your wife know this?
Oh
What
yeah,
did she say?
she thinks it's absurd. She's like, "Who the hell would want to take a picture of you, dumbass?"
That's exactly what my wife would say. I honestly believe though, no, no bullshit. I honestly believe if our wives like if we were in the same city, like our wives would get along very well.
Yeah,
They
probably. I feel like
they seem like they
these
seem like
idiots.
kind of like the same person.
Yeah. Aside from that, nah, not too much else. Just tracking down some fun stuff and
Are you
trying
on
to
the hunt for
decide,
anything?
trying to decide what I'm going to buy this year.
Are you on the hunt? Are you on the hunt?
um, Not particularly. I did pick up a little fun something, a little something recently.
What is that?
That's it's a yellow version of the 38 mil Seiko 100 meter guy. Um,
But
so
that's not a US that's not a
no,
US
no,
model, right?
it was. You know what happened? I really they keep dropping dial colors in ones that I wanted. Of the older models that you
Yeah.
can't get or you have to
Yeah.
find crappy versions of. So I'm like, I guess I'll buy this. So it was in collaboration with a retailer in Japan called On Time Move, I think. And so yeah, I had to buy it from Japan. But
Yeah, I think we had talked about this one before on a few episodes ago. It was on your radar.
but yeah, it's cool. It's a good color. I like it a lot. I mean, I really really like this model in general. Like it just fits very very well.
And it's yellow, yeah?
It's honestly perfect. Yeah, it is bright as
Yeah,
yellow.
it reminds me of the old it's a slightly different yellow, but it
Yeah,
reminds me of the older like the SKX, like the full yellow dial.
that's what I mean. Like to
Yeah.
hunt those down now, it's such a pain. You got to
And
worry
they're
about
expensive. So
exactly.
expensive.
So you know, might as well go with the new one.
And
Why
you like the
not?
small size anyway.
I do. I like
Let's
this
be honest.
this mid size. It's beautiful. It's got the Japanese day wheel, so I'm hyped about that.
There you go.
And yeah, that's kind of it. So just ready to saunter on here, get into another calendar year of Rishis
Yes.
Radio.
Yes.
Uh, where we can try to record here and there in between the busyness of life and everything. But I guess we'll hop into the new things while we're on the topic of new. So we haven't dropped an episode in a few weeks, given that we had to record one and then we had to push back, and then I
Yeah.
recorded one without you, so I really didn't do the new stuff. I guess we'll start with Timex and Huckberry has a collaboration that they often do collabs. This one is a little different. Usually they just put out like a quartz model or something. This is an automatic. It's titanium and it's 41 millimeters, 200 meters water resistance, and it's actually not terribly priced. 375 for a titanium watch, automatic
Yeah.
movement. Like it's a field watch, at least a field style watch. It's got kind of your typical field look to it. It's gray. It's got a blue strap. It's got some light blue lume on it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
do like the handset is a little more, I guess, masculine than I'm used to on watches like these. Typically, they're pretty thin and kind of
Yeah.
flimsy. Like these look like they're very bold. Like they're very practical, pragmatic. Like they're supposed to be used for telling time. I get, Huckberry is an outdoor brand, so
Yeah, sure, sure. And correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like this watch, I feel like there was another version of it that came out previously.
there was, but just a Timex version, I believe.
Okay, okay. This is now the collab with Huckberry.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
I
But
think
I
it was
know
like,
that they were both like limited productions. Like this one's a limited edition as far
yeah,
as I
this is
understand.
Italy. Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they so they do these once in a while, and they're like I said, they're always kind of quartz. They're just sort of like the beater. This one seems like it might just be a little bit more premium. I mean, obviously, a titanium case is a big deal.
Yeah.
That's not something you see sort of in this price range generally in the 375 range. So
I mean, I think it looks great. I mean, it's a classic field watch, but obviously a little bit more masculine, as you mentioned, a little bit more modern. It's a decent size and it's a decent price, and especially in titanium, like what's not to love about it? It's just gonna be the question, like, can you get your hands on it? These are probably watches that sell pretty quick. So if it's out
Yeah.
there, go grab it.
Yeah. The photos are nice.
They are nice.
They look better
I'm
than the actual render.
I'm pretty sure I know who took those photos.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah. Good buddy of mine probably took those photos. Seems like you were the first one to post it. I'm like, okay, all right.
All right, I'm on to
I see
you.
what you did there.
Yeah. All right. While we are on Timex and Todd Snyder have teamed up again to deliver a Q model. It's a Q 1978. It's two tone, 37 millimeters, barrel shaped case, day and date. And yeah, it's a very stylish, neat little watch. The description is kind of weird. They're like, oh, this is the watch that like when Bond comes out of the water and they'll like and
Yeah,
unzips his
that
thing
was weird.
his wetsuit and it's a tuxedo underneath. I'm like, all right, I don't really get that from this, but if you're
It's a
trying to
bit of
say
a
it's
reach.
classy, I get it.
Bit of a reach.
No, definitely a reach. So if you're familiar with this 1978 model, they've already had a few of these. This one's a black dial. It's got sort of goldish accents, and then you have the two tone case. The only thing I really don't like about it is I wish the end links were fitted to the case.
Yeah, that was my only criticism as well. But I think I know why. Because I was just thinking about this. Obviously, it's a very jarring thing, and in some cases, it can also be kind of period correct because a lot of the watches back then did this.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
But to me, this is a watch that, from a design standpoint, I would immediately take off the bracelet because it's probably going to leave a little bit to be desired and put it on the strap. And I think that this is kind of one of those watches that just makes it easier to do that. No end links. You just pop it off, put on the strap of your choice, and rock it. I just think it would be an overall better look.
Now my question to you, given that it's two tone, do you go silver buckle or gold buckle?
Always silver buckle. I don't understand this gold buckle weirdness. It's like it's only partly gold. I mean, you agree with me, right? Like,
I would probably go silver buckle.
yeah, like I've known guys that like a two tone, like a 300 meter, like
Yeah,
a current Omega two tone. I know people that have bought a gold buckle for it, like a solid gold Omega buckle, which is like $700 or $800, a pin buckle, mind you. It's like, why? Well, because it's two tone and I want to balance. I'm like, yeah, but nobody's looking at the bottom of your wrist. Like when they sell the normal two tone model, it comes on the steel buckle for a reason because that's the way it's supposed to look. I don't know, it's weird to me, but they do it.
yeah, and well, at least in that case, you're getting an identical match on the gold. That bothers me even more. Is trying you're going to
Oh
try to
yeah.
seek out a gold in the same shade as the one you already
Yeah,
have. Like,
yeah,
good
it's
luck on the internet.
it's
Like,
yeah.
no chance.
You're absolutely right. It's funny. I have the same OCD about that. Like if materials or colors don't match, like the blacks are different, or like it will drive me nuts. It will drive me nuts.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Totally. All right. So while we were just on Seiko, we'll come back. They are putting out a whole bunch of GMTs as of late. They released two LEs for Asia. These are in the 41 millimeter GMT format that we've seen. It's sort of the 5KX GMT that
Yeah.
I have one. They've
Mm-hmm.
also released them in a yellow dial, orange dial. I have the black one. These ones are an ice dial with a Batman bezel and
Nice.
sort of a Bordeaux crimson dial with a Pepsi bezel. I,
Yeah.
I can't say I'm a gigantic fan of either one of them.
Yeah. When you sent me the renderings, I was kind of like, that's nice. But it's a no for me. Like it's just like if I'm gonna get one of the GMTs, I'm gonna do something a little bit funkier. I'm gonna go the orange dial. I'm gonna go with some of the other variations that they come out with that are a little less of like the Pepsi colorway, the Batman colorway. These are it's just a no go. The dials really throw them off for me. They don't feel so cohesive.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, if you like it and get it, whatever. But this to me just doesn't feel like it's the right color Pantone here.
I certainly like the dark red dial better than the ice dial.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I know that that bezel is going to be sort of shiny and
Yep.
reflective. Whereas if that was a matte, because the it's a Pepsi look, but it might be gray. I can't tell. It's a bluish gray on top and then red on the bottom. If that was a matte color, I think that might be really nice in person. I just know it's not, given that I have one. So I know
Yeah.
it's going to be very shiny, and it's just not going to work out the way I want it to. I also don't really love the choice of colors on the GMT hands.
Yeah. I mean,
Like I could go with the gold on the red, but then you got to change the bezel around. Like it just doesn't. There's something that's very non-cohesive about this.
yeah. This is one of those like Friday watches where they just kind of like slap something together because they're like, oh crap, we have this release that we got to do tomorrow.
What do
Like,
we
we'll
got in the
just,
parts bin?
it's like exactly get out the prototype bin. We're just gonna smack something together and call it a day. And this is, unfortunately, kind of what you get.
Who
So
cares? It's an LED.
exactly, we're only gonna make 50 of them, so it doesn't matter if it's hot, steamy garbage, whatever,
Yeah.
and it's
So
fine. It's fine.
yeah. All right. They're not great. I'm not thrilled with them. However, these other ones, I don't believe we talked about these yet. Seiko released three other GMTs as well. These
Yes.
are gut reaction. Most people said Explorer 2. I I understand. I get it. But they have sort of this a similar aesthetic to them. So you're getting there's a black dial, there's a white dial. It's for Japan only. That is the SBSC009. The black dial, um, metal silver case is going to be SSK023, and then the blacked out case SSK025. So you're getting white dial, black dial, orange accents on the GMT
Hmm.
hand and
Hmm.
second hand,
Fixed bezel.
fixed bezel, and it's sort of a field watch GMT look to it.
Yeah.
Very sporty, very busy. I think they're pretty neat though. Like I could maybe mess with one of these.
Yeah, I could too. I mean, as we've talked about before, we got the 1655 in service right now. Like it's kind of giving me those vibes,
Yeah, a little bit.
especially like the classic version with the black dial. I think for me though, if I was gonna pick any one of these to make it not feel so much like a Rolex homage, I would go with the all black on the NATO.
I could see that.
I think that one is just cool enough. It's tactical enough. It looks different enough from what everything else is because the white and the black, 100%, they're Explorer 2 vibes. Totally.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're going with the SSK025, that you're much more likely to feel okay pulling off without feeling like it's too derivative.
And that one comes on a NATO. The
Yeah.
others come on a 5 link.
Correct. Which again is kind of like that 5 link is kind of like, okay, it's not an oyster, but it's kind of close to a Jubilee style. You know what I mean? So I think if you want to really kind of get something cool, have the GMT, make it kind of a more militaristic field watch, I would go with the NATO strap version.
Yeah, and these are really nice. They're 39.4 millimeters. So nice size. 13.6. I mean, you're gonna have that when you're throwing a GMT or a complication like that. And
Yeah.
especially when a watch is gonna be at the price point this is, it's not gonna be a super slim watch, but really not terrible.
Yeah, the only thing that throws me off is the GMT hand itself.
It's a weird shape.
I don't like the shape at all. It's the one thing that kills me about it.
I don't even know what you call that. It's like a fountain pen kind of,
Yeah, but I
but
mean,
it's like
isn't
a
that like a
syringe.
yeah, isn't that kind of like the classic tip of a second hand from some of the Seiko divers?
It looks like they blew it up.
Isn't it like
It looks like
don't they
the
call it like
almost
the
like the
stoplight
shovel.
or something
Yeah,
like that?
that like shovel second or yeah,
Yeah,
it
okay,
does look
okay,
like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
But
That's
usually
what I
they're
thought immediately, and I was like, I don't know if that works as well.
yeah, usually they're two different colors on there too. So
Yeah.
which could have been interesting, but either way, yeah, I don't have a final verdict on this yet, but I think I like it.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah. Let me keep moving along here. I guess lastly we'll go with the brand. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're I guess technically a micro brand, Paulin. They are from
Yeah.
Scotland. They actually just recently, I think, got bought out by Anode. If I'm
Did they
correct,
really?
I think they did. Who's
I mean,
also
that would make
Scottish.
sense. They're kind of like the same. Same style of watches. So
They are very similar. So for those not familiar, they make a lot of sort of mid-size watches, very sterile, very clean looks, usually some very vibrant colors on the dial, kind of matte finishes. Like I said, very clean. I've seen one in person before. Buddy Fernando in Red Bar, New York, has one. Shout out to Fernando, the homie.
nice, nice.
Yeah, so I've got to toy around with his before. I think he has a yellow one. Yeah, but they're usually very clean. They're very neat, very classy. This model is in conjunction with the Armory, who is founded by Mark Cho, the Hodinky regular. For those of you who
Yeah,
don't know, he's a menswear dude. And this one's kind of an interesting dial because it's a Cali dial, but it's Romans on top, and then it's Hong Kong numerals
yeah.
on the bottom.
Funky, man, funky.
So very interesting. I mean, I'll say that much. And I think they come in a few colors. I've seen yellow and black. I think there's like a sky blue, a purple, and a black and gold. Yeah, all really nice. I mean, again, they're very good with color.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, I think I read that this brand was founded by three sisters. So that might give you a little more insight as to why they're very good stylistically. I mean, typically women are a little more fashionable. We
What
are.
are you trying to say, bro? It's like men are just knuckle
Listen,
draggers.
dude, have you ever like everybody I know has ever been like, dude, I could totally design a watch. I'll design a watch. Like you try it, you're like everything I put together looks like absolute crap. Like
Oh my God, that's
so
hilarious.
I have abandoned that front. I will never be one of those guys. Dude, I throw together and watch my sleep.
Yeah. Okay, buddy.
So
No,
but pretty
these,
cool.
these
Pretty cool
these
release.
watches are cool. I mean, even their normal stuff. And again, if you guys are looking for something whimsical, maybe you're not going to get the new collaboration here with the Armory, but even their normal run of the mill stock, it's cool. It's funky. It's very like 90s, like 80s vibes. Especially that kind of like transitional thing. And they do a lot of fun stuff with font and geometric shapes and colors that just make it really cool. So it feels very, very retro and reminiscent of things, but it still feels kind of its own thing. And again, like you said, now that they're affiliated with Anardane, that makes complete sense
Yeah,
because
totally.
they're both on that side of the world and they're both kind of doing their own thing within the space. And I think that this is a perfect example of this. Like their version I've had my eye on for a while is their um Model C, which is the pink dial, comes in
Yeah,
like
yeah,
either the
I did see
mechanical
that.
version or the quartz. It's very hot. This would be one of those companies I would love to do a wrist cheese watch with. Like
Oh yeah. Oh, that would
this,
look really good with the purple.
this,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
this would be
turquoise
sick.
for
So,
show. Yeah, that would actually that's a good idea, man.
you
Next
know,
time I
I've
go to the microbrand shows, maybe I have to float that out there.
it's like, look, can we just do like a two-piece run? You can just tack it on to another production and we will just pay for them and we'll just do a one of two and call it a day. Got to flex your connects, bro. We
That's
need
it.
we need
I
we
do.
need some
I do.
custom launches.
That's right. All right. So, as I alluded to earlier, there has been a significant amount of news in the past few weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some
Mm-hmm.
interesting, some good, some bad, some just kind of funny. I think the big one for a lot of people, especially vintage enthusiasts, Breitling now owns the rights to Universal Genève.
Yep. Huge.
I mean, I
Huge.
think I this is one of those what they used to have the meme like everyone liked this. I think this is everyone likes this. I don't know
Yeah.
anybody who's like ah garbage. Everybody's like okay, we have some potential here, right?
Yeah.
I think the increased popularity of the pole router over the past few years.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. There's no question. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. My only apprehension about it, and this is one thing that nobody else is talking about. My only apprehension about it is they say that this will be Breitling's now more expensive
Oh
sister
no.
brand. sister brand.
I don't need that.
That was what I caught. And everything in the press release indicated that this was going to be a higher tiered brand over Breitling. They weren't going to be
Damn.
like competitors in price point. Breitling was going to be at one price segment, and then Universal Genève will be at the higher end price bracket.
I was
So I don't,
hoping, yeah, I was
yeah.
hoping it would be a little more spread out. I mean, listen, if they bring back a lot of the complicated stuff, the tri compacts and all, yeah, that's going to be expensive. But I was hoping maybe you get some of their time only
I
or
mean,
more
I'm
basic
sure there's going to be some
watches.
stuff that's going to cross. Like if you do a new pole router,
Yeah.
like it's going to have to be within that. I would imagine $5,000 to $7,000 price point
See, I was hoping
potentially.
I would think you try to run that up against the Black Bay and
I
just
just
try
don't know
to,
if they're. I just don't know if they're going to go that micro. And I think that that's why that this took so long to happen is because whoever was looking to make this poll knew it was going to be a big thing.
yeah.
But my only apprehension about it from the collector's standpoint, not from the business end, from the collector standpoint, is like I would imagine they would do like a Nevada, or they would do like that kind of like sub 5,000 price point for some of their model for some of their watches and their models, right? But I don't think that that's what this group is going to be going for. I think they're going for big hierology pieces, and that's the only thing that I think a lot of people are looking at this merger or this acquisition with rose tinted glasses because they're like, oh yeah, Universal's Nest coming back. Like, what is that going to mean for your pocketbook?
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
Breitling doesn't make anything under like 8 grand anymore.
exactly. So if this is going to be the more
A couple
expensive
things,
sister
but
company to Breitling, and a Navitimer is already
yeah,
$11,000, like
geez,
where is a tri compact sit? 15, 20?
it's tough.
That's that's the one thing that's going to be very difficult for people to swallow, I think.
Man, that's kind of disappointing. Like I said, I was hoping they were going to be maybe the more expensive pieces would be along the lines of like the BO1s and things like that. And then you'd have your pole routers and stuff, which would compete with like I would say below, below like your 300-meter diver and stuff. But like I said, maybe run it up against your like Black Bay line and stuff like that and
I
just
mean,
try to
totally,
conquer that.
totally agree. Totally agree. But I don't think there's a large potential here to screw things over. There's a huge potential because the only thing that people love about UG is they love the vintage catalog. Okay. Now, here's the thing: do you just remake all those vintage pieces and resell them, or do you make a few of them, or do you completely make brand new stuff? Like as if Universal Genève never ended, and this is just the next chapter in it, right? Do you start fresh and new designs and new creations? And that was kind of hinted is that maybe this was going to be a new era of UG where basically it was going to be a fresher, newer take, which that always scares me because people fell in love with the stuff they fell in love with, which is the vintage stuff you can't get anymore. So, what does that mean for everything moving forward? Okay. That's the stuff I'm leery about this. And I think a lot of people are excited because UG's back. It's great. It's a great headline. It's a great title. But what does that mean for the collector? And does that mean that UG will be able to service your watches again?
Also true.
I don't know. Because probably every watchmaker that has worked on a UG for UG is dead. So now you have to hire in watchmakers. You have to train them all up again. Nobody really has any working experience with any of these watches in a real world setting for 50, 60 years. It's going to be pretty difficult. I mean, I think that they're shooting for launch officially like in 25, I think is what I heard. Something like that. So whatever's happening is still several years out.
Yeah, I think what I would do is I think you have to start by putting out at least a couple faithful recreations.
I mean,
Drop it as a
George Kern has had some
heritage.
hits, but
I
he
know.
hasn't had that many hits.
Drop it as a heritage, the whatever heritage pull router heritage model, right? Tri compacts heritage, and then you can work your way off of that and try to bring it more into the modern, I guess. But
That's
you're
just
gonna have
my
to hook
fear,
people.
though.
You're gonna have to hook people somehow, and it's not gonna be
That's
with here's a
that's
completely new interpretation of everything. I don't think anybody's gonna go for that.
no, but again, you have to remember these are investment guys. These are people that started a company. They're not a watch house. This is an investment group. Okay. They saw a way to make money and they threw an obscenely large estimate at the name holders of UG, so large they could not refuse to take the deal. And they finally sold off the intellectual property, which has been trying to happen for decades.
Yeah, understandably.
So, and again, understandably, right? And that's also kind of what made UG so collectible was like this was a unicorn. Like this piece will never work again, kind of thing, right? No, that's gone potentially. But are these investment bros going to really make it a watch house? That's the question. And I don't think anybody's asked that question yet. Because there is a huge potential to screw it up.
Well, if
And
nothing else, it'll be a lot of fun to watch.
it'll be a lot of fun to watch and certainly be a lot of fun to comment on. I hope they don't. For the sake of UG and the sake of the collectors, I hope they don't. I hope that they're getting people in the right mind space. And I think that they are. But we just got to make sure as enthusiasts that we hold them accountable for it. If they decide to do something like, again, like we're going to release a new pull rider at $15,000, like, no, it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to want to buy this. It's going to be too expensive, right? Like, okay, we release a new Clapton. Cool. 40 grand.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like where do you price yourself? That's going to be the that's going to be the big question. There's a new Nina Rint at
Yeah. Yep.
$35,000. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. That's gonna be tough.
Very tough. Yeah. Good problem from our standpoint, not so good problem from their standpoint.
Yeah. Again, they have everything to lose. Everything to lose.
Yeah, we get to see new watches and either enjoy them or potentially bash the crap out of them. So,
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
all right, let's move on down to Rolex. Fined at 100 mil for thwarting online sales. So, France's antitrust
Oh,
agency has accused Rolex of,
antitrust laws.
well, basically stopping sales of their new watches online from their retailers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is speculation that this has come down now because you can buy their CPO stuff online,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you can't buy new stuff online. Because obviously, you can't buy a Royal Oak from AP online,
Yeah.
right? Nobody has a problem with that. But I don't know if, I don't know how deep in these antitrust people are. Like, I don't know if they how much they understand the culture or whatever. I don't know if they're just going to say, well, it's sort of been like that for a long time for them, and we're not going to say anything. Rolex has just become, quote unquote, scarce in the past decade.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe they see it as playing games, manipulating markets, and all that good stuff. But either way, they're getting smacked with 100 mil fine.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think
USD.
they can.
USD.
Yes, yes. Not that I don't think they can pay that, but
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
yeah,
They could pay that.
they'll wipe themselves with that.
Yeah. Basically.
But it's just kind of funny. Kind of funny that the enthusiasts have sort of been calling them out for stuff like this for a long time, and now they actually got nabbed for
Well,
it.
I
So
mean, and I get it. I get it because what part of the argument was initially for Rolex, because this has been an argument that's been going on for years, especially as more retailers have focused on e-commerce. But the idea was that Rolex is like, look, we don't sell our watches online because we want to prevent any type of counterfeiting or any type of ways that could be, misleading to the buyer
right,
because they're not sold directly from Rolex, right? And they're like, and we don't sell any of our products online. It's like you can't buy a Ferrari online. You know,
right,
what I mean? Like you can buy one through a gray market dealer that sells Ferraris, but you can't go to the Ferrari website and buy a Ferrari online. So if this continues to go forward, this could have gigantic ripple effects in not just the watch industry, but in really any industry, especially in France, because it could set the precedent for any other global markets to follow suit with this. Um, but it's totally feasible. It's totally feasible that they could do this, and I think a large part of this was brought up by retailers. They're like, look, I'm allowed to sell XYZ brand through my e-commerce platforms, but I can't sell your brand. And some other brands have e-commerce platforms, and we're missing out potential sales and revenue because these brands have access to these consumers that we could ourselves get access to, but we can't because you're prohibiting us from doing that. And by doing that, you're essentially controlling the market and controlling our ability to make money. Therefore, you're engaging in antitrust stuff. So, I mean, I see it. I mean, there's a lot of brands right now that do online e-commerce. IWC does it, Cartier does it, basically everything. Richemont, with maybe the exception of A. Long and Zona. Uh, um, Omega does it, Cartier. I mean, like, there's so many companies that do this. Why doesn't Rolex? Well, they're so popular, it'd be so hard to do that. Okay, so you sell an Air King online. You sell the least desirable models online. Nobody said what you have to sell online. You could sell watch boxes. Who knows? Like, I mean, that's silly, but you know, there's no statute as to what has to be sold or what could be sold. It's just the fact that you are prohibiting people from selling your stuff online, which is therefore potentially manipulating the market. It's I see both sides, and it's not a very clear cut and dry type case, because this is just what Rolex does in everything that they do. They control every aspect of business. Like, oh, you want to be a watch company, make money? Well, I'm just going to buy the watch company that sells your products. So in essence, I own you. Oh, you're going to expand a new store to this very affluent area? I'm just going to buy out that building. So in essence, I become your landlord. I'm like, this is what Rolex does. They control everything. And it's not even just watches anymore. It's real estate, it's property values, it's land. I was hearing from somebody that in Switzerland, there's like a parking company, like where people pay to park their vehicles like monthly or whatever. 60% of that company is owned by Rolex. So literally, Rolex is getting money from people monthly who work and live in the watch industry, and they pay Rolex money every month to park their cars in Switzerland because they diversified so much. How insane is this? It's nuts.
It's like BlackRock, Vanguard,
Yeah, I
Rolex.
mean, it's literally, that's exactly what it's like. They own everything. They own everything. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to come of this case. I think that there's certainly a cause for it. I just don't know if it's going to be anything that's going to be beneficial long term for the industry. I have no idea. But it's interesting to see. It's interesting to see Goliath get hit in the face once in a while,
It's nice.
metaphorically or otherwise.
It's nice.
You know, it's nice. It's nice to see that there could still be a kink in the armor.
Listen, everybody and their brother is happy that New England Patriots are like 3-14. All right. They had a good enough run. Okay. Everybody's happy to see Bill taking losses left and right after losing like 5 games in the past decade.
Oh my
All
God.
right.
Yeah. Everyone has their time, right? Everyone
Yeah,
has their time.
that's it. That's it. So speaking of sort of the running gag of the watch world that we've had a good laugh at every once in a while, the extremely young CEO of Tag Heuer is no
Oh God.
more. However, he has managed to ascend to CEO of LVMH watches.
I love how you said it in our text. he failed upwards,
Oh,
and
I
I'm
was
like,
saving
yeah.
that, but yes, dude. Imagine failing up from not
Oh my
doing good at
god.
Tag Heuer to now overseeing Tag, Zenith, and Hublot.
Blow. Yeah.
Mother of God.
And you know the worst part about all of this?
Nepotism?
Well, I mean, there's that. There's certainly that. There's no question about that. The headshot that they posted of this
Oh,
dude.
it is funny.
It is literally the worst professional photo I have ever seen of anybody ever, taken for a ginormous watch altering, industry altering photo. And this dude looks like he just rolled out of bed. His stylist picked out a suit, told him to put a tie on, and we're going to take a photo for his big announcement that he's now going to be continuing to be one of the richest people in the world by doing nothing. I
Must be nice.
I'm at a loss for words. And like you said, I think you put it correctly. He failed upwards, like because you didn't even do a good job at tech.
I was just laughing to myself. I'm like, this is like watching Succession in real life.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
he's just gonna
That's literally what it is.
fail up the food chain.
It's just like, I mean, the guy. Tell me something revolutionary that this kid has done. Like we've talked about tags problems over
He's
the
like,
last entire year.
let's get the guys, bro. Let's get the guys.
I mean, my God, you got that fantastic. You had a little spotlight of the Barbie movie with the pink dial Carrera. Great, awesome. But I mean, like, bro, you're running the whole company now. You're the CEO of the whole company. Good luck to LVMH. I hope you know what you're doing.
The only other thing I could think of was in Horrible Bosses when Colin Farrell takes over the company because the dad dies, and he jumps over Jason Sudeikis,
Yeah, yeah,
and he's just like this loose cannon doing drugs and like
yeah, yeah. He's doing all the cocaine in the
banging
office.
hookers. Like
Yeah,
that's all I could think of when I saw this announcement.
but and the other thing is too is like why? Like, is his dad dying? His dad's one of like the richest men on the planet. He trades like weekly spots with Elon Musk and Jeff
Yeah,
Bezos.
right.
I
Maybe he
mean,
just
like,
wants to go spend time in his yacht or his maybe he wants to go to space
maybe.
or the bunker. Maybe that's the new thing. Everybody's got a bunker.
Yeah, they do. They
Maybe
do.
maybe
All
he's
these
building a bunker.
multi-billionaires have these bunkers. Yeah, he's gonna go hide out in the bunker. Um, but yeah, man, I'm just like, what is happening here? And again, it's like this failed upwards, man. It's quite, and that was the other thing too. This dude got promoted over all of these veterans, like heightened veterans within the industry. And then in the shuffle, they all went from their respective brands that they were managing to now on a completely different brand. Did
Yeah,
you
that
see
was
this?
dude, I almost made a meme about them doing playing musical chairs, but
Oh my God.
I didn't feel like enough people would understand
Oh
like
man, I was
their umbrella
dying,
of
dying,
brands.
dying.
But it's just like, yeah, they're like, okay, so the Zenith CEO is gonna go take over for Tag Heuer. Okay,
I'm like,
now
what a demotion.
the dude from Tag is now gonna run the entire thing. Like,
Yeah.
like, okay. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It was a very weird thing to read. I was like, oh, they got rid of this kid. Oh no, they didn't get rid of him. They promoted him.
yeah, to the whole thing. I mean, to the whole thing. That is the shockingest detail. Because, and we had talked about this. We had talked about this initially, I think, several episodes ago, sometime last year. I brought it up that there was going to be a big announcement with LVMH at some point. And I think I had kind of hinted that, he was going to be making some changes. And I had heard initially the rumor was he was going to be taking over Bulgari. Nope. All of LVMH. Everything.
Interesting move given they just had an absolutely terrible year.
I mean, when you have more money than you know what to do
I
with,
guess that's yeah, I guess that's it.
like, and again, like he's seven. So Bernard, who's the father, he's 74 years old. Okay, he's an older guy, right? But this guy built himself on business. What has this kid done? And he superseded all of these
These
industry
vets, yeah.
veterans and these titans with
He's now their boss.
he's now their boss. Could you imagine,
Could you imagine getting fired by this kid?
dude? I mean, honestly, this is like straight up Billy Madison. Like if
Good one.
this is like you know what I mean? Like this is this has to be what it's like.
I'll take business ethics.
Oh my God. Everyone is now dumber for having listened to I award you no points. I mean, but am I wrong? This is straight out like Billy Madison. It has to be.
It's going to be an interesting
Like
go.
the
This is
like
going to be
the dad is like a self-made man. He's like, all right, I'm getting older. I need to pass on the company to somebody else who cares about it. And all of these like weaselly dudes who are CEOs have been fighting in the in circles for so many years
it's
to
going to be
be the
me.
next.
It's going to be me. I got this.
And all of a sudden they're like, nope, we're promoting our less than 30-year-old son to run all of the companies, including be your boss. I'd quit. I'd quit because there's no chance that at any point in time you will ever supersede outside of your role. Oh, and by the way, not only are you not going to get promoted, we're just going to promote you to a different company. So whatever you've been working on for the last 5 is done. You talk about a major shakeup. Like that was the other thing I didn't understand. Okay, if you're going to promote him, fine. Why'd you have to change all of the other CEOs?
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Right? It's almost it's the only thing I can think of is like it's almost like all right, well, if he's starting from zero, now everyone is starting from zero.
Okay.
So that there's no like infighting. We're all sucking together, at least initially. It's kind of messed up, man. It's kind of weird.
Well, either way, it should be entertaining.
It's gonna be hilarious. Can't wait. I can't wait for our Mario Kart edition Hublos.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Last on our docket here this evening, Swatch is teasing again
Yes.
in sort of a cryptic fashion. They put out a teaser and it says New Moon,
Mm-hmm.
Ocean of Storms, and
Yes.
apparently it's going to be on January 11th. Now, Ocean of Storms is in the Blancpain font.
Font. Yep.
So now the gears are turning in the head because it says New Moon, but it says Ocean of Storms. Now, if you
Yep.
Google Ocean of Storms, it's a place on the moon. It's a giant
Yes.
cavernous, basically empty ocean that was made by volcanic activity a very long time ago. And so that is the Ocean of Storms. But there's clearly a Blancpain tie-in here.
Yeah.
Now, you and I have been sort of speculating what that could be. We've landed on some interesting things. I really like the idea you had that maybe they're going to do a side by side release, maybe same colorway, two different watches. You're going to get the Moon Swatch in the colorway, and then the Blancpain same colorway, and that's going to be like your duo, Ocean of Storms. This way, the Moon is involved. It has the Blancpain tie-in
Mm-hmm.
with,
Mm-hmm.
and it also has Ocean, even though it's not really
It's
an
not
ocean
really an
color.
ocean. It's literally
Not
like a
anymore.
lava. It's like a lava magma field or whatever. Or
So
was.
it could be that could be it. That I really feel like that has a decent chance of happening.
I mean, to me, it just makes sense, especially because like we thought about the Blanc ponds, right? The whole thing with Blanc pond is ocean conservation. Well, we've already done a watch to conserve all of the oceans, which there are 5 of on planet Earth. So, what other oceans can we really celebrate without going anywhere else? Well, we have the tie-in with the moon, with Omega, with ocean or with the lunar exploration, all these things. There's a very famous massive crater system on the moon called Oceanus Procellarum, which translates to the ocean of storms or the sea of storms. And what better way to kind of combine both entities of what we've already done that's been popular within the marketplace instead of, just do a two pack, or you do one of each. You do a moon swatch that celebrates it, and you do a 50 fathom swatch. But I really hope it's got some red molten magma type color scheme or something like that, because that would be so sick.
Well, you think it's definitely gonna have white or gray.
I mean, yeah, but could you imagine like if it had some type of like magma inspired, rotor or case back or something like
I
that?
mean, you could dial texture even, but
Yeah. And especially because the Swatch 50 Fathoms are more expensive. There's a little bit more creative license that you can do with the finishing on these watches, which I think is cool.
now is there a space slug to put on the back?
There's definitely not a space slug, at least not one that I'm
like
familiar with.
like the ones from that Slither movie.
Oh God. I thought you were talking about something from like Treasure Planet, and I'm like, yes, space
That's
slugs.
the one.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for this, whatever it's gonna be, and I'm wondering if the initial teaser is gonna be Blanc Pawn, and then they're gonna do the flip the script, and then do a swatch, Omega's moon swatch type thing. Because if you remember back to the original announcement for the moon swatch, that's what they did. The first announcement was like it's time to rethink your swatch, and then like the next day or a couple days later, they said it's time to rethink your Omega. And that was what got everyone freaking out because they're like, wait, why are we rethinking our Swatch and why are we rethinking our Omega? How do these two things even coincide with one another? It doesn't even make sense. It's not physically possible. How does that happen? And then boom, it was a marriage of both entities and it just broke the internet and retailers. So I'm wondering if maybe we're just kind of on the cusp of this, that maybe we're a couple days out from another update that could indicate what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see that. Yeah, I didn't know if this was gonna be just a means of expanding the Blancpain line because, like you said, you only got five.
There's only five oceans.
I mean, you got to get creative to expand out from there. But what else would you do? Like, is it going to be Ocean of Storms, and then they're going to go to other planets and do like gigantic craters? Are they going to do the Eye of Jupiter or whatever? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's the thing too, because like if it is referencing the moon, which how could it not, right? If it is indeed doing that, it's not even a real ocean.
right?
I mean, at best, it's a molten lava magma ocean. It's not a water ocean like we have here on Earth. So there's also that. It's like this is a lot more creative
Yeah,
license.
that's what I'm thinking. I think they're just going to do that type of thing. Maybe they'll do some other places in the universe, or I don't know. Even like maybe even here on Earth, they might just get creative with some different like water structures or something. I don't really know.
What
I mean,
is
there's
this?
underground, there's weird like underground seas or underwater lakes. As stupid as that sounds, it's a real thing. Um, so they might get real cute with it. Who knows?
Yeah. Wow. Somebody's already reselling these watches.
Which
There's a website called mgbwatches.com, and it has a bunch of the moon swatches in there that are selling for way over retail. And it already says here Swatch and Blanc Pond Omega or Swatch and Blanc Pond Ocean of Storms New Moon 1,150 USD. By purchasing a pre-order product, you can accept our terms. So they're literally trying to pre-order a watch.
yeah, they're selling an allocation.
Yeah. Jeez, that's a whole new thing, huh? They have all the Moon Swatch editions. Wow, these are expensive. Wow. Lollipop Moon, $1,330. All 11 Swatch Moonshine editions, $26,000. You have got to be kidding me.
What are they doing?
My gosh. And how do we even know these are legit?
Yeah, of all things. And a lot of
Wow.
people think that these have a finite life.
Yeah. Well, I mean the moon ones did.
Yeah.
The Moonshine edition certainly did. Absolutely. But I mean everything else, like they're available, man. Just go buy one. That's crazy. MGB watches. I'm not plugging them. Do not spend your money here. Don't do it. I don't even know if they're legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. What are you gonna do?
Uh, that's
Capitalism, baby.
that's it. That's all it is.
That's all I got, my friend. That's all I got.
All right. Yeah, me as well. All right, put a cap on it. First episode in the new year. Technically, I mean, we did drop one, but we recorded it last year. So
Yeah.
uh good to be back. Excited for what's to come. Hopefully some exciting, very good things. And in a couple months, we'll have Watches and Wonders. So that'll be good too.
Finally.
Yeah, very exciting.
Been a long hibernation, boys
It has.
and girls. It's time to start looking at some real watches again.
All right. Well, till next time, Schmidt, catch you later. Listeners, next week. See you then.
Take care.